what they're doing here for us is just allowing us to look at their data. And so I wish this table had, let me see if I can make it a little bit darker here for you. Okay. I wish that their table had put like a black line here, a little bit darker for you. So you could have seen, whoops, where the actual, shoot, that one just went crazy. I think I can still see it. So we can actually see where our totals are. So a lot of times whenever you make your table, you'll have like larger lines there to kind of block them off. Okay, so basically this table, we just have to know how to read it. Here it says that they randomly surveyed some people. They found out that they surveyed male and females. 10 male like action movies, 17 like the comedies, and there was a 27 total men that they actually surveyed. For the females, 9 like action, 20 like comedies, and 29, my line kind of went through it, but that's a 29 right there, were the total number of females. So if you total up men and women, you get a 56 is our total right here, okay? This is going to act as our sample. So this automatically becomes my denominator. My numerator is whatever they want to know about. So up there in pink, I went ahead and highlighted for you. It says, what's the probability that the person prefers comedies? And so if your person prefers comedies, let me get into a different marker. Okay. So if you're looking for the probability of how many people, what's the probability that somebody likes comedies, then if you go down the column, this is action movies right here, 19. For comedies, that's what we're looking for right here. And so for comedies, we're looking at 37 people. Well, that's who I'm interested in. So my numerator becomes 37, my denominator is 56, and this won't simplify. If your instructions ask you to go in there and give them a decimal approximation to 3 decimal places, then all you have to do is divide 37 by 56, give us that decimal approximation. But 37 over 56 is what we call the exact answer. Just to point out this last example here about how it changes from what you and I already know how to do, they were a little bit cheap on us. Here in their table, first of all, it's about, these numbers represent millions of people. You've got owners and you've got renters going across the rows and the columns here. Some people move within the state, some people move to different states, and some people move to different countries. What they held out on us this time, they didn't total anything up. And so you'll see out there, next to the row where it says owner, I've got 14.8. That's because I went in there and the highlighted orange numbers there, I added all those up. That's 14.8 total owners. The renters, I did the same thing. There were 24.2. These, remember, are millions. And so once I knew how many owners and renters there were, I totaled up those two numbers and I found out there's 39 million people that they surveyed. This 39, I know it's in millions, and so I'm just going to carry it over to my denominator and then start asking the questions. It says, what's the probability that the person who moved is an owner? Now, this person who moved, okay, all that we know is that they're an owner. Well, there's 14.8 people who actually moved, and out of 39 people, or 39 million people, which is our denominator. So that gave me roughly 0.38 as probability. It told me in the instructions to round to the nearest hundredth. So that's the division that I did. I got that answer that's circled there and kind of in green. The second one said, using that same total, what's the probability that a person that did move, they moved within their same state? Well, this time, I know how many people we've actually surveyed. That's still 39. That's my going to be my sample space. But you see there in purple, I boxed in the people I'm interested in. I'm only interested in people that moved to the same state, just a different town. I don't care if they're owners or they're renters, because nothing was said about that in my event. And so I'm going to add those two groups together. I get 30.6, divide that by 39, and you get 0.78 is the probability. So this tells us that out of every 100 people, 78 of those people are just moving within their state. Okay, remember that decimals and percents, when we were working with those before in their meaning. So sometimes the table will be set up in such a way, oops, that the totals are already there for you, which is nice. And sometimes the totals won't be there. And so you'll have to know, well, I need to put those myself. Now, you could have done it for all three cases, like moving to different states and moving to a different country, but that's totally up to you. Okay. Just watch what you're given as your information. All right, if you look at the, let me see, I think I have one more page for you. Oh, I lied, that was it. Okay. So is there anything that I just went over, and I know if you haven't looked at any of the homework, then a lot of this won't make any sense to you, but is there anything that I've talked about that you might need some clarification right now? Okay, awesome, awesome. Things will get a little fuzzy when we start talking about conditional probabilities. When we start talking about conditional, when we start talking about, are things mutually exclusive, or are they independent? And so when we start getting to special cases like that, basically what'll change, sometimes the event will change and sometimes the sample space will change. So we'll have to watch those as we go through, okay? Like I said, what I'll do is I've already uploaded these. I had forgotten to turn on my recording for this meeting until about halfway finished. So I'll redo the recording and I'll post that up there for you also, so you can hear it again if you need to. And then I will also put up 11.5. Remember, we're looking at, what is that, about 2 weeks before our test opens, okay? There are 8 sections in this chapter. The last section really is not very difficult at all. It's about expectations, but the next 3 that we go over between now and then are probably the most confusing ones, I guess. Okay. Remember, you can always email me if you have a question. The easiest thing to do, of course, if it's a homework question, go straight to the homework. Go to the help tab and select Ask My Instructor, and it'll send it straight to me. Give me a heads up about, what you've tried or what's happening. You definitely can use your calculator on these if you're not sure that a fraction will simplify, because sometimes your numbers get pretty large. So if you just put your fraction in your calculator and hit math frac, which is the #1 option, it'll tell you if it'll simplify or not. The only time we want to use decimals in our answers is if they tell us. Okay, that's the only time you want to do it. So hopefully this will give you enough to start off. The homework's not very long at all. And if you're wanting some extra practice, you remember you have that study plan. You can always go and ask for the chapter and a certain section number. Well, other than that, I'll be around. So if you need me, just give me a holler, and I will answer any questions that I can. I know you should be expecting a formal letter from the president coming across your email. So please be diligent about looking at your email for Colin. And there are some more things that are happening here at the school. So I'll just let him send that letter to you and let you see what's going on. But I will give you a heads up. We will finish our course online here. Okay, so unfortunately, I won't get to see you again. I hate that. I really enjoyed our class, probably more than any of the other ones I teach right now. But it is what it is, and so we'll deal with it. Please stay safe, okay? And they're saying wear masks if you go out. And so find you somebody that can sew and make you a cool looking mask, okay? But please be careful and please keep well, okay? I guess I will just see you guys later. All right. Bye, Alex. Bye, Zach.